Current panel.
All right, we have IAmSp00n, and so IAmSp00n, if you could just do like a general introduction of yourself.
Spoon, like they said. Wow. My name is IAmSp00n, or Samuel. That's my first name. And I have a Twitch channel and I have a YouTube channel. And I've been streaming and YouTubing for about 3.5 years, since September of 2010. And mainly more of a streamer on twitch.tv now, but still doing the YouTube as well. If that's a good enough introduction.
Cool. And I noticed that when we spoke a bit earlier, you said you started off with some Minecraft gaming mostly, and then you moved into just a variety of gaming. Is there anything in particular from your Minecraft days that you would say was kind of like your favorite thing to record, or your favorite game type to play? Or is there anything just memorable from back in that?
From Minecraft, it's really not the game that I have a most memorable moment. It was more of a convention that Wes, the other moderator, was actually part of, where I met up with a lot of other Minecrafters called PlayOnCon back in the day. And that was when my channel was still kind of small. And meeting up with a lot of other Minecrafters really made me feel more at welcome in that community. So I'd say that Minecraft as a game is really good, but it's more like the community that keeps me interested in it. And I think that's probably what stands out the most is going to conventions like this one, but that one in particular, because I met a lot of people that also do what I do, and it made me feel more, I guess, not as alone in the community for being just a content producer.
So speaking of being a content producer, I'm sure when you first started, you probably maybe didn't imagine that it'd get to where it is now. When you first started, was this your goal, or did you just kind of go into it thinking, I really, really like this game. Let's just make content.
No, I can't say that when I first started producing content was my goal to be where it is now. It was more of my friends saying, hey, you're good at playing video games, you should play video games and let other people watch you play video games. And from that, it started at a very basic level where I just, I think I was playing a Call of Duty game, and of course that stemmed into Minecraft. But when I started off, it wasn't anything I wanted to do professionally. It was something I did for fun. And then I would say less than 3 months into it, I decided that this is something that I really wanted to put a lot of effort into, because I took what I had was what I would consider an addiction to gaming, and I put it into an addiction to producing content using video games. And so I took that and turned it into something positive. And so it became, I don't want to say less fun, but it became still fun, but also more of a work-related material as well.
And what would you say, like, so looking at yourself today, what keeps you just motivated to continue doing what you do? You said it became more of like a work-related thing. What keeps you like just coming back for more work, so to speak?
I don't want to say my fans. I want to say the viewers that contact me and say that I've motivated them not to do something maybe something that matters like socially, but something that doesn't matter, where I start off for fun too, but it's motivated them to start off and have fun with it and kind of test the waters as well. So having people say that I've motivated them to do really anything is what keeps me wanting to do it more. I know that sounds like extremely cliche, but it really is. When I get a message, even the longer ones that say that I've inspired them to make content and maybe step outside of their comfort zone, maybe not even with gaming content, but with something outside of the internet as well, then that's what feels good for me.
Well, you've been doing this for around 3 years now, and I'm sure that it was a journey throughout all of that. And can you talk to us about what it was like building that audience? And as you said, you transitioned from mainly being a Minecraft guy to kind of going to a variety of games. So obviously with that comes also a different audience, a wider audience. So can you talk to us about that?
I have a very fortunate experience to say that I have gone from Minecraft, and a lot of people that play that game, that produce content with it, stick with it. They don't really try other games, because when you switch away from something that you found a niche for, and a lot of people will tell you that they find a niche with a certain game or a certain type of content, it's hard to pick up a different game or pick up something that you wouldn't normally do on your channels, whether that be YouTube or Twitch, because it's hard to get the same type of audience. So being a Minecrafter for a long time, it was different to play other games and then build almost a new audience. I would have, the same old people that are there for me, which I wish everybody would be there for me, but some people want to see only a certain type of game. So I've had a very, very fortunate experience having people to come to my channel and watch me for me, not just for the Minecraft experience, but for anything that I do, whether it be gaming related. And sometimes I'll do stuff with that isn't gaming related, but it'll be more like I guess a podcast type thing with my friends. We'll sit there and talk. So there's a lot of different things that help build an audience. Variety sometimes doesn't do it, but if you have a good time doing it, then it's likely that you'll have maybe not as crazy large of an audience, but you'll have a very comfortable audience that know you, that you come to respect, and they respect you for what you do. So I'd say that is the most rewarding thing when building an audience, is not having billions of people watch you, but having the good amount of loyal people that you've grown to know just as much as they know you.
And so being someone that makes content for both YouTube and Twitch, like, what would you say to someone who's maybe up and coming in this whole online gaming sort of gig? Is there any pros and cons to each that you would kind of want to point out to them specifically, or?
What I would say with Twitch and YouTube, both of them start the same way I did, which is do it for fun, do it because, hey, you should try this out, and you want to do it. For me, once again, I had I want to say a negative addiction to gaming. It was cutting into whatever social life I had at that point in time long ago, and whatever other this was once again 3 years ago, but at that point in time I played video games rather than my job, or rather than school, and so back then, before it was something that I do now for a job, that I do now for a social life, it was a negative experience. And when I started making content, it took that and it made it something positive that I could say, look, this is what I've made, this is what I've turned it into, and that was a good thing for me. So I would say that if you're going to do it, don't go into it with the mindset that you're going to turn it into a job, that you're going to turn it into something that is going to replace anything that you're already doing in your life, but do it for fun. What I would say is anytime I'm playing video games, I might as well stream it, I might as well record it, and so you should be that way as well. If you love video games, then say, well, if I play video games with my friends, I might as well show other people me playing video games with my friends. And if you do that, then you're going to have a good time, and it doesn't matter the amount of people you have watching you. It's going to be no different than how you would normally play video games.
Well, talking about, how you're doing gaming full time now, I know that there's many people out there who, maybe would see what you do and be very, maybe jealous or aspire to do that themselves. But obviously wanting to do it yourself and actually accomplishing it successfully is a completely different thing. Why do you think you were able to be as successful as you are, whereas maybe there may be, some people who try to be consistent streamers but just aren't getting the viewership? What do you think made you stand out?
Mainly patience. Patience is a good thing to have when you're streaming or producing content on YouTube. Not only patience with the content you're putting out, but patience with yourself, patience with your viewers, in many cases, patience with your networks, or the sites that you're working with YouTube and Twitch, because you'll have good days and you'll have bad days, just like with anything else. Twitch and YouTube will have their technical issues. You can have an issue where you're like, I can't get past this one thing, or I can't record this video right, or I can't stream this correctly. So mainly patience for those things, but also for the viewers. As I said, streaming for fun, playing video games for fun, that's where it mainly goes through. So you can't expect to have any type of large turnout right when you're starting off, unless you, I guess, get really lucky, or you have a lot of people to support you. A lot of friends in the community like I have, and that's what it is. Mainly is if you don't have the patience for it, then hopefully you'll get to meet a lot of really awesome people that will kind of give you the push you need to keep producing content on a more professional level. And that's where I am now, is where I have, I'm switching my channel over to variety, so I do a lot of different things, but I have a lot of my friends that also do what I do that'll be there, and I kind of build off of them.
So, all of the sort of editing and just legwork that comes into play when, having a successful YouTube channel like yours, do you do all of that on your own, or do you have a team of people?
There are people who have teams. I do not. I have. I used to have just one computer that did all the work. One that I bought, a very basic level computer. I didn't even build it. But starting off, I started once again with a very basic level of equipment, and you have to kind of learn everything from scratch, whether that be video editing, in streaming cases with the software that you use for live streaming. A lot of that you have to figure out. There's a lot of tutorials on YouTube, a lot of tutorials on the internet that help you, but a lot of people just have their one person that does all the work, and it's not a team at all. It's not a team effort. And if you do have a team, which there's a lot of people who do, even then sometimes when I've had other people work with me on things, I look at it and I'm like, that's not how I would have done it. Or maybe I look at it and I feel like that's way better than I could have done it. So I go back and I stick with just doing it myself. I don't want to say I work better alone, but as far as recording and doing the technical side of things, having a team for me would be more of a problem than anything else. Not because I don't like other people, but because they would either not do it the way I want it or do it better and make me feel inferior.
Well, having done this for around over 3 years now, is there something you wish you would have known going into it? Any sort of skill you wish you would have had earlier, or any sort of knowledge you would have just heard from someone else?
Something I wish I would have had back then. One of the things I look back on, I said I started with a very basic level. Knowing that I could have built my own computer for cheaper than I bought one at a store, that probably, I think that's probably the best, because your computer, the hardware that you use for your content production, whether it be streaming or whether it be for YouTube, is a big part of what you need. And having the right hardware is not always easy, and starting at the very basic level is great, but you can spend just as much money with a starting computer and get something much better when you build it yourself, other than buying it from a store. So I'd say that having that second computer off to the side of in my apartment, where it's like, I don't even use that. This is the one I started off with, but I could have built one much better than this. It would definitely have saved me money to not have to need two computers, and could have just avoided buying the old one.
So, having been a YouTuber for so long, where do you really do you see YouTube and Twitch? Where would you like to see it go, I guess is the question.
I would like to see YouTube go in the complete opposite direction it's going right now, because I'm not really happy with the way it is. Of course, I mean, it's the same old YouTube, but anyone that makes any kind of content will tell you it's getting harder and harder to grow. And I don't mean grow as in like, oh, I want to have the most viewers ever, but grow in a sense that you want to start out a channel and you want to work your way up, maybe not in viewing, but at least have other people in the community at least recognize you, so you can have more people to join up with. Because when I started, I quickly met, within a month or so, I met other people that do what I do, and it was a great experience, because off of that, I started going to conventions, I started meeting more people, making all kinds of awesome friends, and I feel like, minus the viewing, you don't have a chance to meet as many people that make YouTube videos. Streaming that's why I love Twitch, is because with Twitch you can meet amazing people in the community. I mean, I go and watch other streamers, and you have such an easy list of games to choose from, list of people to choose from. And on YouTube, even if you're not signed in, or you are signed in, you're not going to see those smaller channels that are starting off, and not even about the smaller channels, but even the moderately sized ones that you're like, I like watching content from them. You're going to see the promoted stuff at the top. It's going to be in your way. You're going to have to really go out of your way to find new content to watch, and with Twitch it just doesn't have that. You don't have to go anywhere to watch new content. Yeah, they have the front page, but if you start browsing whatever game you want to watch, it's easy. So I almost want how Justin TV started doing Twitch, which is gaming. I want YouTube to make a secondary YouTube that is meant for gaming as well, that'll be more focused on that, instead of YouTube in general, where it's just all one big cluster and you can't really tell what's going on.
Well, just as you said, and then now that you're more involved on the Twitch side of things, can you just describe to us what your schedule is like? Obviously, being a full-time streamer is different than being primarily a YouTube content creator. So I know that being a full-time streamer often means that you're streaming on your channel for many hours a day. So can you just talk to us about that?
I am fortunate and unfortunate enough to have a non-existent schedule right now. Being a content creator, a lot of people will stick to a schedule. They will, on YouTube, they'll upload a video or multiple videos at certain times every day, and that's based off of peak hours and who's going to watch what and who knows what series is going to be out. Twitch, even better, they have a consistent schedule where I go live this day, I work these many days in the week, and I usually end the cast most of the time. My schedule right now is whenever I wake up and I eat, normally I go live and I stream anywhere from 6 to even sometimes 9, 10 hours. I do not have a schedule right now at all, but normally I end up staying up too long because, as I said, streaming is really fun for me, so I'll end up staying up a little bit longer each day, streaming more and more, and so my schedule will end up being completely reversed in a week of what it was before. So I will be streaming from 1 p.m. till 8 p.m., and then 5 days later I'll be streaming at 1 a.m. to 8 a.m. And I can't say that's good business-wise, because you have peak hours and you have people that expect you to be live. But at the same time, when you build an audience, you get a lot of different people, not just that are sticking to my schedule, but people that are in different countries, people that have different sleep schedules that match mine. So having a consistent schedule might get more viewers, but I want to say having an inconsistent schedule where you stream at random times has a lot more variety, not only for when you stream, but who visits your channel and who ends up finding you.
So do you have any examples of maybe like a really just awesome moment when you were streaming and you maybe accomplished something in a game, the audience was there with you, that you just kind of really felt connected to your Twitch viewers?
I think that the most, when I feel connected to my game or to my audience, to anything, is not when of course, when I do something really awesome or I'll be playing, the latest game that came out for me would be Titanfall, and I'll do something really cool and get an awesome kill. First-person shooters make me feel really excited, even though I know I'm really bad at them. But I think I feel most connected with my viewers when something doesn't go right, when maybe there's a glitch in a game or something really weird happens or something catches me off guard. And when I don't, because a lot of people that produce content, they'll tell you they really force, not in a bad way, but they'll force a lot of acting, and they'll force a lot of energy put into a moment to kind of hype up the stream, hype up whatever you're watching. But when a game catches you off guard and you don't have to throw any kind of effort into the reaction that you put out there, that's when I feel most connected to my game and to my stream. I can say maybe, I'm trying to think of a clip I got. Most of the clips I have are something that caught me off guard. I'm thinking of Grand Theft Auto 5, where I step out of a car and I'm wanting to steal a vehicle from a person, because in Grand Theft Auto you do that. And he steps out of his car, and another car in the other lane, before I can react, just comes out of nowhere and hits him, knocks off his door, and his body goes flying behind me. And at that moment, I felt completely shocked, surprised, like, this is terrible. After I think I flew a plane into a group of people that were playing with me, not 5 minutes before that. But that was expected. That's something I planned to be funny. I knew it was going to happen. I knew that I was going to explode, they were going to explode. But when the game caused I don't know, an AI is not supposed to run over another AI in the game, but when that happened, it caught me off guard, and I didn't have to act surprised. It was genuinely surprising for me, and it was hilarious to me. And I feel like that is when, and it's not just Grand Theft Auto, any game where that happens, where it catches me off guard, that's when I feel like it's connecting to the game, and that goes for anybody. When you find something that shouldn't exactly happen, but it does anyway, and sometimes glitches or things that cause unexpectedly, that's why I love gaming, is because I get connected to that and I get original reactions to it.
Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of your fans really like that authentic side of your streaming. But I'm sure that also with all the fans that you gain, that you also sometimes may get some trolls and negative reactions. So whenever that happens, how do you deal with that?
I don't want to say that like I'm different or unique from anyone else, but a lot of people As they were talking about on the last panel, when you have someone who is negative in your chat, when you have someone who is being very disruptive or heckling you in any way, a lot of people will say, ignore that person, ban them. And that's a great thing to do. It works very well because you don't have to read that anymore. No one else has to deal with it anymore. And that's great. But as I said before, putting effort into getting a reaction out of your audience, maybe putting effort into taking something that's very basic and pumping it up towards like a bigger deal than it should be, you can make a positive experience of that. So with me, I like to make examples where Renee was saying her moderators, they will tear into a person when they're very inappropriate. I do the same thing. It's similar to how bullies are in real life, is when someone's bullying you, you can ignore them and maybe that'll go away. Or since I own that chat room, you don't have to allow them to say things like that. You can tear right back into them and then see what they say. A lot of times you will get a response back like, oh, I apologize, or I was joking. So just ignoring them is a great way to handle someone who's negative and just getting rid of them. But also, maybe from time to time, if you feel like you have some type of thing you need to say, you can get back at them and you can say something back, as it doesn't have to be extremely offensive or inappropriate, but it can even be something that's very simple that will make them feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And I can tell you, there are a lot of times when that person will take that negative response and they will turn it back around and say, I'm sorry, you're actually pretty funny, and they'll stick around, and so you'll have this person that is really bad at first, but they'll be like, I kind of expect them to be pretty bad, but they don't step over that line again. So you end up, I guess, gaining a friend off of that negativity. So that's how I deal with them. I don't like ignoring them. I like fighting back because the chat seems to like it, and sometimes it can give it a good experience out of it.
Do you feel that just your interactions with the fans in your Twitch stream, has that kind of ever permeated your real life, so to speak? Like, have you ever kind of learned a lesson, or maybe like made a friend that's maybe like been your friend for a really long time, just off of interactions with people online?
I want to say that the way I treat people in my chat reflects very directly on how I treat people in the real world. And I say in the real world like it's different. To me, streaming on Twitch, it's not too much different. It's just another avenue for people to talk to each other. So normally, it really depends on how I feel around that person. Obviously, the way I treat people in my chat, the way I talk in my chat, being above PG-13, I'm not going to talk the same way to my parents. I'm not going to talk the same way to people that I would respect more. But at the same time, I respect plenty of people who I talk very comfortably with. So it's more about how well I know them. If it's someone I recognize in my chat, someone that's been there a while, I'll know how I can talk to them. I know how they talk to me. So there's not really a difference between the way my Twitch chat and people in real life communicate with me and how I communicate with them. It's more of is it in person? Do they get to see that physical emotion that's behind it? I mean, I can't see them, so I just have to assume that I'm saying the right thing. And a majority of the time, if I know them well enough, then I am. So it's not too much different. I think that being in a Twitch chat, being on stream, has actually made me more comfortable to be myself in real life, outside of streaming.
So it sounds like when you're streaming, you actually get in your comfort zone and you're just having conversations with your viewers. What do you do when you're not streaming? Is there something you do to relax, or do you feel comfortable enough streaming that you're actually relaxing while you're streaming?
I would say that I'm relaxed most when I am streaming. When I'm live, when I'm in front of my audience, I'd say when the most I'm uncomfortable is that 10 minutes when I'm getting things set up. I'm like, okay, I only have 2 monitors and I have to have about 10 different things open on my screen at one point in time. And that's when I'm most uncomfortable. But as soon as I hit the start button, it feels completely natural. But usually when I need to wind down, if there's something that I don't feel comfortable with during a stream, or I have to stop for some other reason, a majority of my time, if I'm not streaming, I'm watching other people stream. That's normally what I enjoy doing, is I enjoy going and watching other people, not necessarily talking in the chat, but sometimes just sitting there and watching someone else play the video game, because they have those reactions and unique experiences too that I would be like, oh, I never thought of that. or oh, this is really interesting the way they do this on their channel, I might try that too. And so I've developed my stream, and I've developed the way I produce content a lot of the ways because the way other people do them as well.
So you said earlier how you like to play FPSs. Is there any particular genre right now on Twitch that you find yourself coming back to a lot, or you find it's just something that you feel you'll spend more time in the future?
Twitch has a very direct influence on what I play. When the Twitch Plays Pokemon craze was going on, I didn't watch 10 seconds of it. However, that made me want to go back, and I ended up playing Pokemon on my 3DS. I ended up downloading Pixelmon, which is a mod for Minecraft. I ended up watching the Pokemon series. So Twitch has a very direct influence on what I do. So whatever is popular, I may not care to watch, but I will want to play it too. And on top of that, when it's popular, my friends want to play it. If my friends are playing it, I'm going to play it too. What I find myself watching lately is, once again, cliche as it is, I find myself watching MOBAs and getting into them because a lot of my friends are playing them. Lately, I've been playing Smite as well. But I did play League of Legends a lot before that, and that's because a lot of my friends play it. But I knew that Smite was going to be a big thing at this event, and I knew that it was a very fun, because I feel more comfortable over the shoulder. I feel more comfortable when I can look around however I feel like it, and with a fixed camera, I don't like it. So Smite is one of the MOBAs I like the most, and that is the big craze right now, is MOBAs. People love that PvP experience. They love playing against other people. I'm not very competitive, but when I see other people being competitive and really getting into it, I enjoy watching it. So I normally find myself watching these tournaments and championships of games, not just MOBAs, but anything where there's a competitive gaming. I like watching it because people in the audience and people announcing it get really into it. And so that's one thing I'm excited about here, beside just the GameVidExpo, is also being able to check out the tournament and be, that is actually my first live experience of a tournament type experience. So it should be interesting.
Well, going off on what you just said, obviously you said Twitch has a big influence on the type of games you play on your stream. I've noticed that when I watch different Twitch streamers, there are streamers that seem more focused on their gameplay, you know, as in showing the best gameplay possible. And then there are streamers that are more focused on interaction with the viewers, or just pleasing them or entertaining them in some way. If you had to kind of categorize your stream, or kind of put a percentage on which of which, how would you describe your own stream?
We mentioned first-person shooters, and I want to say that first-person shooters are a main reason why I don't have a chance to look at my chat, because in a competitive game, you're constantly being hit, especially with Titanfall. There's all kinds of action going on. So during gameplay, it's hard for me to read chat. If I die or something, you have a little bit of respawn time, so I have time to look at something, and I mainly find myself talking to the game, or talking to my teammates, or I want to say 80% of the time yelling at the people I'm playing against, obscene things. So downtime in between competitive games, or the reason why I liked Minecraft for such a long time, I still do, is because you can be really relaxed with the game. You can talk to your chat, you can talk to the game, you can experience the game and experience the stream experience at the same time without really taking too much away from the other. So more relaxed games, sandbox games, indie games, stuff like that, where it's not competitive, where you don't have to focus on the game, are great for streaming, because you get to talk to your chat, and the chat loves that. But at the same time, people like watching that competitive game, and they like seeing that you are probably better than them, but they want to see how you play the game and how well you do it as well. So you can really, it's not that you have to talk to your chat, and it's not that you don't need to talk to your chat, it's that you need to find a good balance depending on what game you're playing at that time.
All right. Well, I guess we have time now if we want to open it up for some questions from the audience. If you guys want to kind of get in here and participate in the conversation, let's hear any questions you guys may have.
I would love to see the audience right now, but this light is very bright. I thought Renee was
You can just go up to the
I think,
microphone.
yeah, I think that
was
works.
wrong, but no, she's right. It's really bright.
Hello? Excuse, sir?
Kinda quiet. You could probably yell louder than the.
Sir?
There you go.
Is this good?
That's good.
I hear you're a fan of tacos. What are your favorite toppings on your taco?
I feel like this is from a movie or something of some type. I don't know why. But I really like. You said what favorite type of taco is on my taco?
Hello? Yes.
Okay. I would have to say that my favorite type of taco on a taco was all I can think of right now is.
No,
Oh.
not on a taco. Just tacos.
Okay.
In general. Thank you.
Favorite type of taco? I'm really not adventurous. I'm kind of bland. I like it to be meat and cheese, and that's it. I'm really not adventurous. I don't like tomatoes. I don't like lettuce. I don't like all that stuff on there. Sometimes I'll put some sauce on. No? Okay. Well, how do you like your tacos?
This is not my panel.
Mm-hmm.
Do not ask me questions, sir.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you, though.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, that man that I've never seen before.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I am a big fan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to pose a question for IAmSp00n?
Preferably not about tacos. They told me to eat the microphone, but I feel like get this close, then you're gonna hate me.
But I just wanted to ask, what's one of your favorite childhood video game moments?
Oh man, my first game that I ever played seriously, besides I had if you remember, if anybody remembers the giant gray brick, the original Game Boy there had, I played some Mario game on there where I remember being underwater, but I don't remember that one. The game I remember the most is a game that my cousin played. It was for the PC, and I don't want to do the whole, I know Renee was up here saying PC Master Race. I play a lot of games, I don't really care what it's on. I played a game called Total Annihilation, which is an RTS from 1998 or something like that. But my favorite moment is when there was an expansion pack you got that took away your unit cap, and so I would spend an RTS player. It's all about getting into their base and destroying their stuff as fast as you can. For me, I would make the games last 5 hours, and I would build massive armies of like 500 units, and I would take them all over. And of course, it was AI. I couldn't play against other people, but I would take my giant, massive army on the mini map. It would just be a big old blue speck just going across the map, and it would just demolish them. So my favorite moments probably would be playing that game hours and hours upon end. And looking back on it, I know I was the absolute worst at it, but being able to feel that much power that in real life I would never have any power at all. But in that game, I felt like I was so powerful. I controlled the power of the arm or the core, which is at the time that's what they were called, like robots and stuff, and they would attack each other. And I felt like I was so powerful, and that was probably my favorite and most memorable moment, was going back and playing that on my Windows 98 just crap computer, but it still ran well. And now I look back, I'm like, man, I've got a really nice computer, and it can barely run some of the new games because everything is just going from Total Annihilation level to Far Cry 3 on ultra graphics, and it's hard to keep up with it. But back then, when everything was so simple, but yet I would spend hours anyway playing it, that's probably my most memorable moments in gaming. Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to ask a question?
That I can't see.
Well, if there isn't anyone else in the audience, IAmSp00n, is there any last words you want to say? It can be anything you want. It can be a memorable moment. It can be some sort of advice that, for aspiring streamers.
I keep seeing the GameVidExpo logo go around, and I think about the content production aspect. I mean, that's what this is all about. We said it earlier on what's our most valuable, what's our most memorable thing with the audience. A lot of people talk to me about, what do you need to do recording? What do you like recording? What games do you play? How do you record? Besides all the panels that are going to talk about the technical side of it and talk about what we enjoy doing, the important thing is what I said originally, which is have fun with it, because you might end up taking some negative experience, like once again, addiction to gaming, where I did nothing but play video games and I wouldn't get anything else done. And you can take that and you can play video games to actually get something positive done. But more importantly, not only do you build yourself, but you also get to meet amazing people. And that's one of the most enjoyable things about what I do is the people I get to meet, not just the viewers and the people that support me, but also people that do what I do, and people that are not just 5 times as big as me or 5 times less as large as me, but people that are just of all different levels, and we all have like the same respect for each other because we're all doing roughly the same thing. We're all doing the same type of work. And so the people you get to meet are amazing, and they can make you want to continue doing this. But you can really start at any level. You don't need any type of expensive equipment. You don't, even if you want to buy a computer from a store where you have to buy another one later on because it's really bad, even that is worth it, because producing content is a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, and it can really pay off, not financially, but socially, and I want to say, I guess emotionally. Personally, it pays off as well. It makes me feel good doing it.
Thank you so much, Spoon.